Welcome to Chores Stories. Are you ready to meditate with Cory? Hi friends, make sure that you subscribe and you like this video, and also press the bell because the bell will let you know when a new video comes out. If you love Heidi, Cherry and Vaya, make sure that you go to the link below and you join the Patreon group. Then you'll be part of the Cat Club and you'll get 3 exclusive stories every month for just $7 a month. I hope you enjoy the meditation. I love you. Bye. Are you ready to meditate with Cory? Make sure that you're laying down in your bed and everything is just right in your room. The lights are just right. You're wearing your comfortable pajamas so you can relax your body and let go of your busy day. Cherry was in the bathroom complaining. They were trying to get ready to go over to Leila and Anika's house. They were going to go on the big giant trampoline on their back garden since they had a big back garden. Mom and Dad had made sure that the cats had done all the chores because lately, especially Cherry, she'd been dodging doing her chores. Cherry was talking to Heidi in the bathroom. OMG, do you really think it's fair that kids have to do chores? Do you really think it's fair? Because, I don't. I think we should have to do them when we're older. When you're older, right, there's so many responsibilities. You have to get a job, you have to make money, you have to get your own house, you have to kind of take care of kids if you have kids. You have to do all those things. And, by then, you've had lots and lots and lots of time to prepare yourself to be responsible. So, I would say it's pretty natural for adults to have to do all the chores because, it's part of the game, isn't it? It's like you got a house, you have to take care of that house. You don't have kids and then say, hey kids, you're supposed to take care of this house too. Me, personally, I think that, it's like it weren't my choice to have an house. Heidi said, Cherry, that's absolutely ridiculous. We're a family, right? And Mum and Dad just want us to do chores with them because this is all of our house. It's not just Mum and Dad's house. It's your house, it's Vaya's house, it's my house. And that means we all should, take responsibility for the things that need to be done in the house. Cherry said, oh, Heidi. Oh, it's just so annoying. So annoying. I've got so many things to do. I'm going to be famous one day, I have to do, my chores. My chores are practice singing, practice dancing, practice skydiving, practice surfacing. No, not surfacing. Surfing. Practice surfing. Practice, playing outside with my friends so that I make good friends. I have to practice colouring and painting because, I have to be a good painter and a good colourer. I have to do all those things. Practice. I work so hard, Heidi, so hard. Heidi said, oh, come on, Cherry. That's not even a good example. Cherry, chores are for everyone and we're supposed to do them. And the best thing you can do is stop complaining and just try and have a little bit of appreciation for the fact that Mum and Dad do so much for us. How about that, Cherry? Instead of it all being about you and what you want and what you need to do. And the things that you just said are not chores, Cherry. They're just fun things you want to do. Cherry said, oh gosh, OMG, Heidi. Yeah, I know, you're right. You're right. I thought I could get away with that one. But you're absolutely right. That's the biggest load of rubbish I've ever said. But it was good. It was worth a try, weren't it? Cherry elbowed Heidi in the ribs. Heidi was trying to finish cleaning the sink. the sink was covered in toothpaste in their bathroom. Cherry never rinses. Cherry never rinses. Heidi said, Cherry, you never rinse. And here I am cleaning up your toothpaste spit out of the sink. How much fun is that? But guess what? I still love you, Cherry. And I don't mind doing it because we all take care of each other in this house. Vaya walked into the bathroom. Her paws were full of laundry. She'd been picking up all the clothes, mostly Cherry's clothes, off the bedroom floor. She put them all in the hamper in the bathroom, and then she looked at Cherry and said, Cherry, do you think that instead of just dropping everything that you wear on the floor, that you could just drop it in the hamper instead? Just start to get undressed in here. It would be so much simpler. Cherry rolled her eyes as much as she possibly could, exaggerating rolling her eyes 3 times. Vaya just tutted and said, Cherry, I'm just saying. Cherry said, OMG, Vaya! Gosh, it's like I've got 3 mums in this house. Vaya's my mum, Heidi's my mum. Everyone's telling me what to do. Can we just do what we need to do and get over to Anika's house and Leila's house so that we can have some fun, please? The cats went about doing everything that they needed to do before Mum and Dad would take them over to their friend's house. They did it. They finished everything. Hooray! They were there. They arrived at their friend's house. Anika and Leila were pretty upset about something. Anika announced that they can't play on the trampoline on the back garden until they've collected the nuts off the ground. Cherry dropped her bag, stood there with her paws on her hips and said, What? OMG, no! Not more chores! Oh, I've decided chores, right? However you spell that word, it's the worst word in the entire world. What do we have to do? At that moment, Mr. J, the girl's dad, walked in and explained that it was that time of year where all the nuts, the pecan nuts, needed collecting because they'd fell off the tree. And there was hundreds of them. And it was going to be awesome because they were going to have so many nuts and they were going to be so delicious. And he was trying to make it sound very exciting. No one, at this point, except for Heidi, was impressed. Heidi said, Oh, Mr. J, that sounds like so much fun. Can you show me how to do it? Can you show me the whole process? I've never done that with nuts before. Mr. J was absolutely thrilled that someone in the house was willing to help him with all of this job because it was such a big job. If he was honest with himself, he really didn't enjoy the job very much either. There were so many nuts, like a lot of nuts. And then Mr. J announced an idea that just popped into his head. How about this, guys? How about I give you 1 cent for every nut that you collect? Everybody's attention perked up a little bit. Anika and Leila both said that that was a great idea, and they were ready. Vaya asked if she could do that in her dress that she was wearing. Mr. J said that that would be fine because she wouldn't get muddy or anything. It's not really wet out there. But it is an outside job, so if she wanted to change, she could change. Vaya decided that she could do it in her princess dress. It was a blue dress, and it wasn't that pale, and maybe everything would be fine. She would just take off her princess shoes and do it barefoot. Cherry wasn't impressed still. Are you sure, Mr. J, that you didn't mean $1 per nut? Mr. J laughed and almost choked at the same time. And he said, No, Cherry. No, I don't mean $1. Oh, said Cherry. Well, it was worth a try. My gosh, OMG, I would have been so rich. Right, okay, so I have a plan, right? I have a plan. I'll tell you all about it when we get outside. Okay, Mr. J, let's see these nuts. I'm ready. I'm ready to get as many nuts as I possibly can and get rich on this day. Remember this day? What date is it anyway? Because this is a very special day. This is the day that I got rich enough to maybe buy myself a ticket to LA. And then when I get to LA, I'm going to be a singer. And I'm going to sing. And then I'm going to get famous. And then I'll get found. Because I have to get found before I get famous. But then I'll get fit. I'll get found. They'll discover me in the street, like models. And they'll walk up to me and they'll go, oh my gosh, you're so breathtaking. And I'll go, I know. Do you want me to work for you and make lots of money and get famous? And they'll say, oh gosh, yes, please. And I'll say, does it involve any chores? Because I don't like chores. And they'll say, no chores, just you getting famous. And I'll say, yes, this is it. This is the life. I knew LA would be just like that. Mr. J just kind of ignored all the babble that was coming out of Cherry's mouth as they made their way out to the pecan trees in their big back garden. He started to tell them what they needed to do. First of all, we need to collect the nuts. Then, once we've collected the nuts, we need to de-shell the nuts. De-shell the nuts? What does that mean? Said Cherry. Heidi said, Cherry, be quiet. It's when you take the nuts out of the shell. OMG, said Cherry. This is quite complicated, isn't it? Mr. J carried on. Then you have to wash all the dust and the bits of shell and stuff off the nuts. You have to wash them really well, maybe 2 or 3 times. And then we have to put them in the oven to dry out the nuts. So we have to roast the nuts on a really low heat. And then we have to cover the nuts once they're dry, which could take a really long time, so we might be here all day. And then we have to cover the nuts with honey, a little bit of salt, and some cinnamon. Vaya said, oh, Mr. J, they sound delicious already. Mr. J said, yes, they are, Vaya, but we're a long way from those nuts just yet. First of all, we have to do the first part, which is collect the nuts. And like I said, every nut is worth 1 cent. Cherry said, I have an idea. I have an idea, everyone. Gather round, gather round. Listen to me, this is so important. Right, like when gardeners do that gardening thing. And some of them have like them big blowers, don't they? We could blow the nuts onto something that collects the nuts. I'm thinking like maybe some plastic bags or something. We could lay plastic bags on the ground. You guys can all line up with the plastic bags, right? I'm thinking this. You lay down on the ground. You open up your plastic bag. I stand there with a big giant, like, industrial blower. And I blow the nuts in your direction. And then, like, little, like, those... Oh, do you know what it makes me think of? It makes me think of that hippo game. You know that hippo game when those hippo heads, like, there's, like, 5 hippo heads or something. And they all, like, reach out and you have to grab the ball. That's what I want you guys to do with your paper bags or with your plastic bags. I think we should use paper bags, actually. I'm trying to get rid of plastic this year. That's my New Year's resolution. Less plastic. So yeah, let's use paper bags. So we do. You hold your paper bags on the floor, right? And you lay there like as if you're like a Navy SEAL and you're waiting to attack, right? And you lay there with the bag open, obviously. And I'm going to get the industrial blower, right? I'm sure Mr. J's got one. Because this is a genius idea, and if Mr. J doesn't do this, then he's absolutely nuts. Oh! Do you get it? He's nuts! Anyway, yeah. So, I blow the blower, and I blow all the nuts. Everyone was prepared to try this idea. They all thought it was quite genius. The girls were a little bit worried about all the other bits that would probably blow their way, like leaves and possibly snails, possibly spiders, possibly squirrels, depending on how strong this blower was. We all need goggles. said Leila. Oh, good thinking, Leila. Very smart. Yes, because, I don't want to be blowing bits of things in your eyeballs and then I get in trouble by Mr. J and Mrs. G, because then they'll be like, oh, you naughty cat. And I'll be like, OMG, I don't have more chores, do I? Because I were naughty. I get punished by having more chores. That would just be awful. Anyway, so yeah. Goggles for sure, guys. Goggles for sure. Eye Pro. Everybody wearing Eye Pro. Just like Navy SEALs do. Because Navy SEALs wear Eye Pro, because you never know what's going to happen out there in the field. Anyway, after a while, they got enough paper bags. Heidi, Vaya, Leila, Anika all lay down on the ground with their bags wide open. Cherry found a blower. She got an extension cord. She did everything with Mr. J's help. Set it up and then started blowing. Unfortunately, the nuts did start blowing in their direction. But there was all sorts of other stuff blowing too. The majority of what ended up in their bags was leaves, which was very disappointing. The idea, unfortunately, failed. Cherry said, Oh, no, I'm so sad. Maybe we should try again. How about we all just lay back down and try again? Heidi said, No, I don't think so, Cherry. I don't think so. Did you see how many squirrels barely missed us? Those poor squirrels. They probably got blown to the next door neighbour's garden. Cherry said, Oh, I never even noticed. Oh, that's awful. Poor squirrels. Anika said, What about if we suck them instead of blow them? I think Dad's got a sucking machine. I'm sure he has, because I think he uses it to clean up all the leaves off the garden. Genius, said Cherry. All right, so let's ask Mr. J if we can use his sucking machine. Right, and then we'll suck up everything. We'll just suck up the nuts. You can be more particular, can't you? You can be like, okay, nutties, come here. Leaves, go away. Squirrels, go away. You little sluggies, stay out my sucking range. And we'll just kind of like put a warning out to everyone. Heidi said, I think I'll do the sucking, Cherry, because the blowing, you did a good job with the blowing, but it was a little bit dangerous at times. Everyone agreed that Heidi should definitely use the sucking machine because they were quite scared for their lives, to be honest with you. So they set up the sucking machine. Heidi started to suck things up. But the theory of just sucking nuts up rather than everything else was not really working. A lot of leaves got sucked up. Stones, grass, bits of twigs, you name it. Everything was being sucked into that sucking machine. And at one point, even though Heidi wasn't trying, she barely missed a squirrel. The poor thing, its eyes got so big, like big giant saucers, and it looked at her as if to say, Watch out, mate! You almost sucked me up! When they'd finished, they had to empty the bag of what Heidi had sucked up. And even though they were quite a decent amount of nuts, they weren't really that many nuts versus all the other stuff that they didn't really want to be collecting. Leila said, I really don't want to admit this, but maybe we should just collect them by hand. One by one. Vaya said, maybe we could rake them. We could rake the nuts and then kind of put them all in a pile and then sort through the pile by hand. Everyone agreed that would probably be a good idea. They were sorting nuts for the longest time. This particular chore was a big chore. It took forever. But they did get paid quite a lot of money, which made them all very happy. By the end of the day, they got a few dollars worth of nuts each. That's a lot of nuts. And then poor Mr. J was left with de-shelling the nuts, which took him hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. Like, hours. Poor guy. They didn't have to do that at least, because he let them off with that. They could all go play on the trampoline. As Cherry was bouncing with everyone on the trampoline, she was like, "Finally! Oh my gosh, I think I'd rather stay young. I'd rather stay really small because it's only since I've got to be like a bigger kid that I've been challenged with all these chores. But I think your dad's onto something, girls. If I had a dad that paid me for chores, I think I'd be doing chores a lot more often. I'd be rich in no time. I'd be like, Dad, do you want me to clean that toilet? No, hopefully he doesn't want me to clean the toilet. But if Dad said yeah, I'd be like, how much, Dad? Let's bargain for it. If I clean that toilet right, will you give me $10,000? And Dad'll say, no, Cherry, I'll probably just give you 10 cents. And I'll say, deal, done. But it's worth a try, isn't it? You never know. He might be having a good day and he might give you $10,000. But anyway, yeah, not that you should have to get paid to do chores. What do you girls think? Do you do chores? Leila and Anika looked at each other as if to say, maybe we could do more to help. But they didn't say anything. But Heidi recognised the face. And Heidi did her little spiel to the girls about how it's a family. Like Ohana, like in Lilo and Stitch. And Ohana means family. And family do things for each other. So everything that Mum and Dad does for us, we could at least do some chores to help out around the house, right? Heidi was very convincing. She was so smart. And she said it in a nice way as well. She didn't guilt the girls. Because guilting someone's not so great. But she did make them see that they had a really good family and they should help each other out so that Mr. J's not left doing everything and Mrs. G gets a lot more help. I'm sure they both appreciate that. But anyway, they ended up having a really good day and they learned a lot about how much work it takes to get one delicious pecan. When they were laid in bed, Cherry said, I will never look at pecans the same again. The next time I have a pecan salad, I'll be like, oh my gosh, do you know how much work it takes to get this nut? And the waitress will be like, no, sorry. And I'll be like, well, I can tell you if you want. I know it all. I know the whole deal and the whole spiel of what it takes to get a good nut. Anyway, yeah, it really does give you a whole new appreciation for the process. Cherry had done that much that day trying to get money, to get rich, to go to LA so she could become famous, that she didn't take very long to fall to sleep at all. Neither did Heidi or Vaya. They were all three of them fast asleep in no time. After a really fun but productive day. The end.